Hey Pepper Gang, I absolutely love key runs in extraction games, and so far, I'm really liking them in active matter. They are the best way to get some of the best guns, armor, equipment, and just much more in the game. Luckily, there's many key rooms across all the current maps, and I'm sure this trend will continue to expand with the rest of the additional maps. I'm going to explain to you how to craft the keys, show you good spots to loot the craftables, and a couple examples of my favorite keys to hit. By the end of the video, you should have learned something useful to make your new player experience a little more enjoyable. But before I go on, if you need clarification on anything, I'm going to drop some knowledge that I don't have, drop it in the comments below, or swing by the live stream where I stream all these type of games. Now when you first begin the game, you won't have the key craft until you hit the Delta Monolith level and purchase it, which I highly recommend. When you do, it will be available in the refiner, and you're only going to need fuses, and as of now, there's going to be one cassette you can craft with, the blackmail cassette. Anytime you're looting and see either item, especially the blackmail cassette, take them out and go to the refiner for the craft. The craft will spit out a random assortment of keys. As you can see, I still don't have all of them unlocked, and I do hope they allow other tapes to be used down the road for crafting them, not just the one specific one. Now, all the keys in the game are one-time use as of now, and in my opinion, most of them have more than enough valuable loot for one person, two people a lot of times, which makes that one use worth it. Now, since that cassette tape is actually really rare, I end up looting my keys more often than crafting them. I find them in jackets and lockers the most, and sometimes I will find keys in chests behind other keys, such as Shagsko added keys. I have done streams where I do a little chain reaction of key raids, where I let the next key dictate my next raid. It's a pretty fun way to play. But now that you know how they're crafted and what we're looking for the craft, let me just show you some good spots for keys and the items. Sheds, garages, and any vehicle like hangar tend to have a lot of lockers. Lockers are one of my favorite loot containers because they can spawn uncommon and epic loot, as well as the keys and the cassette we need. Other containers I find keys are in jackets and tables. Now on factory, this specific building and the one next to it are great buildings to find keys. The mission scanner quest will actually bring you here quite often, as well as the picture scanning quest. And I find the key almost every time I loot one of them, and it's usually for the same map, hangar 17 and 18 on the east side of it. Now those hangars are definitely worth hitting, but since factory is a small map, I get a lot of resistance, a lot of PvP, even campers around these two hangars. So tread carefully, even if it's towards the end of the raid. Now you can see on factory as well, behind the dormitory, there are many garages, which I recommend hitting for the same loot. You can also find military equipment in these occasionally. Now Shagsko has quite a few sheds spread out too. In regards to the keys on Shagsko, they have a bunch of attics which you can hit, and a lot of times they have two chests full of really good loot. Now be careful going into these attics because they're really tough to exit, especially if a team is camping you outside. I'm not the biggest fan of this map, the way it plays out. So anytime I have these attic keys, I let them stack up, throw them in a safe container, and hit them all in one raid. Moving on to a different map, Escape from the Gorsk has really good hangar keys as well. You just have to do a PvE raid instead of PvP. But I love doing these raids because I tend to bring in Robo Dog, which is a 900 volume backpack, additional to what you can carry yourself. And if I'm hitting both hangars, I'm coming out full with guns, ammo, and all sorts of goodies. This raid is a nice change of pace compared to the other key raids too. Like other hangars on military base, specifically the Silent Observer raid, those hangars are definitely worth hitting, and I actually get less resistance on this map than other maps when it comes to PvP. And I believe that's just because there's a shit ton of stonemen everywhere and you had to use grenades to destroy them. So if I come here, I embrace the suck. I bring about 8 grenades or so and save myself a couple for the extract, but I usually come out full with loot. The military base also has the armory keys. Armory 1 sits inside barracks 1, and armory 2 sits inside barrack 2, which you can see here in this clip. And these armories, guys, are full to the brim with guns, usually a lot of AKs. Now, moving on to cargo port, I've come to embrace this map with time. I actually find a lot of keys and cassettes in this admin building at the very back of the map, and it's usually not as contested in PvP, and the PvE is a little lighter up here. It's just to the right of the gravity anomaly. I don't usually go in many of the buildings on this map because the congestion of mines and the storage inside of them is way too much to deal with. It's a bit of a headache, but this one is pretty light compared to the others, and there's a timed extract that opens up near it. Now, you find the military crate key or the port crane key, you can just swim over next door to open those up. Now, the port crane key is at the very end of the teleporting puzzle around these floating ships. You just keep killing the devourers and keep jumping through these portals, and eventually you'll get to a blue crane. You open the door, go through another portal, and there's a barge full of military medical crates, and you can just jump into the water afterwards and swim to the extract. Anytime I do a cargo port run too, I get about 100 active matter because the devourers drop so much. 100 active matter is 10,000 credits if you guys didn't know. And also, all throughout these barges lie the locked, small, and large military crates, so if you have those keys, bring them as well. But that's it for this one, guys. Some of my favorite locations of the game related to keys. Just want to give you some insight on how I get mine and what's inside of these hangars. I hope this guide helped you, give you a little knowledge in active matter and makes your experience a little more enjoyable. Thanks for watching, good luck on your key runs, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.